Okay. Hey everybody, it's Jeff here once again with Entrepreneur Essentials, and I am here with my very close friend Levi Murray of Elements Massage here in Cedar Park, and we are looking forward to talking to you a little bit. Levi and I have known each other for about as long as I've been out in the business world. He and I met at a chamber event. It feels like a lifetime ago. That's right. Wasn't this, when we look at it on the camera, or when we look at it on the calendar, it hadn't been that long.
Exactly.
But it felt like a lifetime for us. But we have always gotten together and talked entrepreneurship, talked business. I consider him my resource when I need somebody to kind of bounce ideas off of, and everybody needs somebody like a Levi.
I appreciate that. Mutual resource. It's I'm sure we get into this that you need those. You have to have you have to have a sounding board. Absolutely.
Levi has helped me make a lot of really tough decisions in my business, and
likewise.
We kind of trade off when we've each got problems and challenges in our business. So highly recommend finding somebody that you can do that with. Great. So Levi, tell us about your entrepreneurial journey.
Well, great, Jeff. So first of all, thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
It's always good to talk about this new life that I like to call it. So my journey is pretty similar to many. I'm a high tech, or I took a small hiatus from the high tech world, and decided when our kids were about to get out of the house, they're still there. I was about to.
It was closer.
Yeah, 5 years ago they were about to. They moved out in September, but we looked at ourselves and said, hey, what are we going to do when this is all said and done? My wife, who has multiple sclerosis, wanted to go back to work, and I said, not sure I want you to go into the traditional workforce. It's a complicated disease, and we don't want to accelerate those challenges that we already have. Yeah. So we decided to, hey, let's open up a business. Got some money stashed aside. I ran several multi-million-dollar divisions. It's got to be easy. What's the big deal? Just open up a business.
It's just, I ran big business.
Yeah, exactly.
Small business has got to be easy.
What's the big deal? Small amount of money, no big deal. So that was really kind of the decision point, and we started looking into franchise models and organic models, and opened up this can of worms, and oh my God, we got overwhelmed. Said stop, let's start over again, decide what we really want to do, focus first on what we don't want to do, and then spend energy into what we want to do. And we ultimately ended up in the massage business, just because it was a simple model. It was going to be my wife's business, and I was going to continue to work in again, the American dream. And she used massage as a way to manage her multiple sclerosis, so it was a great.
Yeah, so it made sense.
Exactly, and we jumped in. And I had a few advisors that friends like yourself that was out there who had dabbled in different businesses, and I said, sounds like a pretty easy plan. And we wrote the check and we got started. We'll talk about the rest of that journey.
Yeah. So let's just step right into that and talk a little bit about your business and really, some of the challenges you've seen. Because you've gone. A lot of these folks that are sitting out here are either thinking about starting or they've just started, and you're now on what, year 6?
Year 6. We're working into year 6.
Year 6.
I'm a very transparent guy,
yeah.
And I've talked to several business owners who I didn't know at first, and they would go, "Oh, it was great. It was easy. Day one, I made money. I was off and running." That certainly was not my case. The reality of it is that the first 3 years of this business was a very, very difficult, very challenging business. It's a massage business, and like many other businesses, there are a lot of choices out there, a lot of quote-unquote competitors, and it was a 3-year challenge.
Yeah,
and it was a 3-year challenge driven by multiple different things. One, quite frankly, was I was not educated in what it was going to take to make this business work. I made a lot of assumptions that seemed pretty easy to say, yes, this is how you do it on paper. I essentially said that I would follow the SOP manual from my franchise. It's going to work. And I had a lot to learn. I did not do well my first year, year and a half. And there was a lot of lessons learned. One of the biggest ones was to really step back and figure out who you are.
Yeah.
independent of a brand, whether you're a franchise, whether you're organic, had to step back and say, what are we? What is truly our mission? Forget the competition for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
What makes us who we are? Why are we different? Who are our clients? What is our demographics? Asking all those questions with a very genuine set of lenses to really be honest with yourself.
Sure.
And we had to hit the reset button a year and a half in. We had to make a tough decision. Do I continue down this path or walk away?
Mm-hmm.
On paper, quite frankly, the answer was to walk away.
Yeah.
Because the dollars just did not make sense. But my ego to a certain degree and my commitment to making the business work said, no, we can do this.
Yeah.
And so really having to step back and ask those tough questions in the mirror, get those answers, and then figure out how to make those answers work for you was really kind of that turning point for us.
Yeah.
And then we hit that tipping point, if you will, in year three and a half. And from there, we've been able to thrive.
I don't think that's so far off from every business. Really, quite frankly, it's what I've seen. I have a whole community of small businesses here, and I've seen a lot of them start up and fizzle.
Uh-huh.
And I think I see the same trend across the board.
Right.
First year, you're just excited because
Exactly.
you're in business, and I own my own business, and I'm making money. I'm not really making money, but I
Feels that way.
feel
You
like
guys-
money's
revenue's
coming in at least.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then
Exactly.
year two, you're okay. It's not really getting better.
Exactly.
In fact, it's sort of kind of getting worse.
Yes, exactly.
Through year
Exactly.
two,
Exactly.
And I think that's the tipping point for a lot of businesses. And quite frankly, the people that don't have the intestinal fortitude, they just give up
Exactly.
and they quit. And that's the point where, okay, they quit, the business goes away.
That's right.
And I think, quite frankly, from what I've seen just in my world, a lot of, they say about, 2 out of every 3 businesses fails within the first 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I would venture to say that probably 1.8 of those fail within the first year and a half.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think I could not agree with you more. I think what was sort of enlightening to me was, the magnitude of that impact, the magnitude of that challenge.
Yes.
Because I read all those same stats. I read all the books. First 3 years, you make it in year 3, you're probably okay. You make it in 5 years, it's golden. But when it hits,
Mm-hmm.
and you're really faced with that,
yeah.
it's a very different mindset and challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And it truly is a test of the intestinal fortitude.
It is.
And I don't judge anyone who, after a year and a half, decided they couldn't do it because it's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard people say, "Oh, why they quit in year 2?" Well, until you're in that fire,
Mm-hmm.
you really don't know what your limitations are. And so I applaud any person who's actually either attempted to be an entrepreneur, and I certainly applaud the people who have made it through.
Yeah.
Because it is not easy by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. Well, and I think in the end, it doesn't mean that you're a bad person if you decide, okay, this is not for me.
That's right.
Or you don't have the financial resources
Exactly.
to make it through.
Exactly.
It's just the reality of it. The people that hang in there and, drag it out for the next 5 years and make no money and all that. It's just dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
To do that. But,
exactly.
if you can push through, you can do what you did. And I think everybody has to do that. That point in time where that evolution hits where you're like, okay, now I either keep doing what I'm doing, which is terrible, or I do something different.
Exactly.
I have to make a big change in my business, and I've got to
Exactly.
sit back and look at that. And, quite frankly, you and I had several discussions at that point.
Exactly.
Where it was like, hey, well, bounce some ideas off of
right.
me.
That's
Tell me
right.
what you're thinking.
That's right.
But you've got to have people like that. Like I said,
Totally.
I've been there for Levi, and he's been there for me in those cases where you've got to have somebody else that you can bounce these ideas off of and
That's
say,
right.
hey, that's a dumb idea, or maybe you want to do it this way different.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, what's new in your world?
So going back to that statement of looking back and really trying to understand who you are.
Yeah.
So we do retail massage. Retail massage places. There are a lot of massage places in the world. Certainly within Austin and the Cedar Park community, there are alternatives. First thing I started using was that word, alternatives.
Yes.
I stopped using the word competition
Mm-hmm.
because when we look back and we said, who are we and who are we going to define ourselves? There's only one competitor, and that's us. We compete against ourselves, and there are alternatives. Then we ask ourselves the question: what do we offer that's alternative to the next guy?
Okay.
And what we've been able to do is to hire the right people to be able to train our front desk and our mindset, quite frankly, our whole culture, to be very medicinal focused.
Okay.
So we transitioned from a kind of, come one, come all massage place to one that's really focused on a holistic health, and transitioning from we're a massage for everyone, we're a massage for everyone who's looking for an alternative for medicinal type of approaches. And it's really helped us focus our team, focus me, focus our strategies, and has drawn a community that has just totally embraced us for that.
That's awesome.
And now that we are in that definition, it's really allowed us to really thrive and grow and continue to hire. We're up to now 26 therapists, compared to the 8 that I started with 5 years ago. And a lot of them have gray hairs. They've been massaging for 17, 26 years. So we really sort of hit our stride in who we are. And we feel good about it. We're passionate about it across the board. And that's really what I would say is new for us, because that has been a journey. And we're not going to get complacent and stop.
No.
But it's really driving us to continue to find ways to add more of that type of value to our clientele.
Well, and I think, if you don't, the old expression, if you aim at everything, you hit nothing.
Exactly.
Now you at least know how to speak to your audience.
Exactly.
When you know who your target client is, then you can speak easily to them. And I remember you and I talking a lot about advertising at the beginning, and it was, it's like you just
throwing darts everywhere.
Just pouring money into advertising, trying to get people to come in. And now if you do advertising, it's very targeted to a very specific audience.
Exactly. And we do very little of your traditional advertising. We really believe in getting out into the community, meeting our people, establishing trust. In my business, trust is an absolute key tenet to be successful. And so we spend a lot of time in the community. We've learned this community. We love this community. Cedar Park, surrounding areas within a 10-mile radius, is really our core. And we've learned what they expect, and we've found ways to meet those expectations and exceed those expectations. And that really makes the business thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and like I said, you and I met at a chamber event in Austin, and I just happened to be here
can I tell
here
that story?
like 5 minutes before you.
2 minutes to tell that story. So, Jeff and I opened up this segment with saying, we've known each other for a long time, and we have. But I met Jeff at an Austin chamber event. And as I was walking out, we had a speed networking event. I stood up and I said my 30-second speech, and Jeff called me after the meeting. He said, "Hey, did I hear you say you're going to open a business up in Cedar Park?" And I said, "Yeah, well, I got an Austin address, but it's Cedar Park." He said, "One piece of advice. I don't know you that well, but join the chamber, get to know the community." Okay, I did it. It was the single, I will say this, the single best piece of pre-opening advice that I have received, because by joining that chamber and really spending time to understand this community, to get to know the people, to get educated by the people, really help define who we are. Without question.
Well, but I mean, I think the other side of that coin is you actually did the work.
Absolutely.
That's the challenge that I've always seen with people at chambers. I'm going to go join the chamber, and then they don't do anything with the chamber. That's the key. I mean, Levi took that to heart and said, "Hey, I'm just going to throw myself all in. I'm going to be involved in it. I'm going to be involved in the board of the chamber. I'm going to be at events. I'm going to go to ribbon cuttings." All those things allowed him to be very well recognized in the community. And I mean, if you say Elements Massage, everybody's like, "Oh, Levi."
Exactly,
I mean, that's what I try and do with T-Works and what I try and do with BK Wealth. It's you got to be out there. You got to work it. You got to use it.
That's right. I can recall our conversations when before you had T-Works, and we were brainstorming, and when you said, "Hey, I got an idea. I think you start over beer," and you guys created this business. And again, learning the community, educating yourself, letting them educate you, and being humble enough to listen. Which is also and
get feedback from them when you don't do right.
Exactly. And we own up to our problems in heart, because we're not perfect. We're not perfect. And when we make a mistake, we own up to it.
Absolutely.
And we found that the community and your clients, they're people. And they will absolutely forgive and respect that. But own up to your mistakes, make it right, and you will get a loyal client. And that's something we passionately believe in. Passionately.
Absolutely. Okay, fast 5 questions. Ready?
Okay, we'll try it.
All right. So you wake up in the morning, business is gone, $500 in your pocket, laptop, computer, place to live. What do you do first?
Well, the first thing I do is very transparent. I say me a very deep prayer. I do some soul searching. Figure, okay, I ask my blessings to figure out how I'm going to rebound. And the second thing I do is to really look at why I'm in this thing. What mistakes did I make to get me to this point? And at that point, it's really a function of taking all those lessons learned, figuring out how I can take that $500 and grow it through whether it's an investment, whether it's another business, whether it's through whatever, to regain that, that footing. And not look to recover overnight, but to kind of get myself started in a path that takes all the lessons learned, governed by that blessing that I just asked for, and then take that next step.
Yeah. Awesome. What's the biggest business mistake you've made?
How long do we have?
Yeah. Just pick one. Yeah.
I would failure to truly understand the cost.
Yeah.
Of startup.
Yeah, what we were talking about before.
Exactly. I mean, I can go forever on all types of, and I made a lot of mistakes. I am here to tell everyone I've made a lot of mistakes. But I think, without question, one of the biggest mistakes that I made was essentially, I'm an engineer, and I worked at high tech and corporate executive, and you do all the math, and you say, okay, I got this plan. But what you don't plan, what I didn't plan for as a small business owner, is all of the unknown, all the wild cards, all the incidentals that just come up. And so, I just failed to really plan for all of that.
Yeah.
And was in the early days surprised by something. And so I would say that was probably one of the single biggest mistakes, because then you get into a sort of this recovery mode, and you're not even thinking, you're just reacting. And then as you're reacting, you lose the strategy, you lose the thought process, you lose the plan. And so you've got to have enough cash flow to allow you to stay focused, to stay in that mode of thinking, and to stay on track to what the plan is. So I would say that was probably the biggest startup entrepreneurial mistake I made, because the downstream effect, the domino effect of that.
Yeah, and then trying to adjust to it,
Exactly.
and tack to it, and everything else.
Exactly.
So what's a good book that you would recommend for an entrepreneur?
I read a lot of books, and I'll answer this way. So I love The Tipping Point.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite books, because it calls to the forefront to me, there's not a single silver bullet. There's a lot of things you've got to do, and they come together. And at some point you realize that you kind of cross this Rubicon. But also I'm a big fan of the whole Red Sea and Blue Ocean concept, and trying to figure out how do I carve out where I need to focus my business. There are a small book called Where's Garcia? Finding Garcia.
Yeah.
All these books come into play because you can't just focus strictly on the business concept. You got to focus on yourself. What am I doing wrong?
Yep.
You got to understand the economic strategies. So all of these concepts and books that are written around those same concepts is really what I guide people to constantly read. And I need to improve my reading frequency, but I'm at least at one book a month.
Yeah.
I need to get to 2 and maybe 3.
Which is still probably 10 more than most people read in a year. Yeah,
exactly.
So yeah, I mean, the most successful entrepreneurs I know are the biggest readers.
Exactly.
Period.
Exactly.
I mean, you just constantly have to be looking at different ways, looking at different directions and thought processes and everything else.
That's right.
So
it causes a really good opportunity to self-reflect.
Yeah.
And that's why I enjoy reading. It just forces you to kind of self-reflect. And when you're the head of the household, the head of the business, you really need that. You have to, Jeff and I are good friends, and we can bounce each other ideas, and he can be the tough guy and be the, he can be the mean guy and say, Levi, that's crazy. But at the same time, I've got to be honest with myself. And those, reading the books allows you to really self-reflect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. What's a good tool you use in your business every day?
I track everything. We have this Excel spreadsheet. We call it the brain. And people say, well, it's called the brain. It's a spreadsheet that has, I think now we're up to 17 tabs. And it essentially allows me to run my business from my cell phone.
Okay.
But we track, we have a membership-based business where we ask people to join the program. We ask them why you didn't join it, what's going on. We track everything.
Okay.
And we track the number of new clients, where they come from. We track what drove you into the business. I track everything. Part of that's because, frankly, I need to see all that data because I'm a data-driven guy. But the other piece is I empower my team.
Yeah. So
I'm not in my business on every day and long durations. I stop in, I'll help turn tables, I'll help clean floors, it doesn't matter. But this tool allows me to empower my team to be able to make decisions, to be able to reflect back on previous data and decisions, make that same decision or correct it. So it allows me to really empower them to run the business. And good employees want to be trusted. They want to be empowered. They want to feel like they are making a difference.
That's precisely correct.
And that is by far my biggest and most important tool that we have in my entire studio.
Well, and I think you said it perfectly there, because I remember at the beginning it wasn't that way.
That's right.
That first year and a half, you were in the business every day.
I was working in the business every day.
You were the brain
Exactly,
in the business
exactly,
at that
exactly.
point. But that, I mean, that's, I think it was probably around year 2
It was right, yeah.
that you really started to continue to develop that
Exactly,
process out.
exactly,
And, you
exactly.
know, it's, okay, I need to know this data, I need to get it in, and, you know, then, hey, everybody else is responsible, and you can reflect on that with your team.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. You know, when the team has a question, I say, "Did you look in the brain last month? What did we do?" Because again, and I can make that decision. Yes, you can. I trust you.
Absolutely.
And sure, there have been mistakes made,
Yep.
but you
Fine.
don't crucify an employee for making an honest mistake or trying to do the right thing.
I would rather them make a decision and I have to go back and say, okay, that wasn't the best decision, than
Exactly.
not to make a decision at all.
Exactly. My
And
first
force me
promotion
to.
in corporate America, my senior vice president said to me, he says, "Well, you're vice president now." I said, "Yes." He said, "I don't ever want to give you a parking ticket. I want to issue speeding tickets." That's what the executive role requires.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a while to really internalize that. And
Yeah.
he's right. Because you have to make decisions, make them fast, fail fast,
Mhm.
correct, and move forward.
Yep.
And so I didn't get many more, because I had a lot
Mhm.
of parking tickets in the beginning. But employees want that. They
Yeah.
want to be empowered.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. I mean,
Exactly.
That's
the only way to run a
ideally
business.
well, it's the only way to have a business that can last beyond you.
Exactly, exactly.
So, how do people get a hold of you?
Do I want to give my cell phone in this video?
Uh,
No, wait, no, just teasing. Actually, you can reach my studio at 512-250-8800, elementmassage.com, Austin Lakeline. My entire team knows how to get in touch with me.
Mhm.
I have a complete transparency model in my studio. My home phone number, my cell phone number, my private email, my business email, every one of my employees have it.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't do that because they're trying to hide themselves. I don't do that. So reach in my studio and you say, "Hey, I'm trying to find Levi." Every one of my employees can tell you exactly how to reach me. And I don't hide from any of my clients.
Yeah.
I've had some pretty upset clients that call me and we talk through it.
Mhm.
So calling my studio is effectively calling me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just they know where to find you.
They know exactly all the time, all the time. So and they have they know how to make an emergency phone call. But typically, I've got to the point now where I say, "Guys, you call me if it's a true emergency.
Yeah.
But I want you to make that
Yeah.
decision."
See if you
Give
could fix it first, and if
Exactly.
not, I'll be there to help.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, thank you, Jeff.
appreciate it.
And by the way, congratulations on T-Work success and
Thank you.
the
We're
future
coming
second
up,
location that's
coming up
going on.
to our second year here, and
That's right.
So we're through that year and that first half of the
We
second
share
year.
those stresses. I remember.
Yep.
But again, it's wonderful to see your dream come to fruition, and this community is as diverse in terms of cultures and businesses and entities that I've ever seen. I've traveled the world around. So congratulations on harnessing all that, and I look forward to the future and the
Absolutely.
next step of growth for you.
The next step, the next opening. So.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Absolutely,
it.
we appreciate it.
Everybody, once again, right down below me is our subscription button. If you have not subscribed to the channel, you need to do that pretty quick, because we're going to be starting a whole separate little channel on the side that focuses on helping with certain small business concepts, some tips, tricks, and techniques that you can use to help grow your business, but you're not going to get that unless you subscribe to this channel. So go ahead and do that, and we will see you here next week. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.